Good morning, Chicago Cubs fans, and we are back with another edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan. The Cubs finally play baseball today. It's been a long 4 days. I'm excited to watch this team get back out there. We're going to preview the series with the Red Sox in Game 1 happening today at 1:20. We have a kind of a little update on the Kyle Tucker extension rumors in a sense, and this is going to lead to a lot of other questions regarding the trade deadline and some of the Cubs' top prospects. So we're going to get all into that on this edition of Cubs Daily. But before we get into all that, thank you all of you who have subscribed to the channel, who liked the video, and have left your thoughts in the comment section. I want to keep that energy going. No reason not to stop. I will be responding to as many messages as possible. I love hearing all the different thoughts and making this a very inclusive Cubs community. So shout out to everyone who hops in the channel, who likes the video, and you haven't subscribed yet. What are we doing? Hop on in, subscribe. We're on the road to 1K. I appreciate every single one of you. So let's start off with Kyle Tucker, right? I talked about it in a video earlier this week. I said, hey, he's moving his charities to Chicago. He officially announced that on Instagram. And I'm like, hey, where there's smoke, there's fire. And then Ken Rosenthal had to come in and ruin all of that, okay? There's been some talks going on this week, especially here in the Chicagoland area as well, just about how, the Cubs are going to have to pony up the money. And yes, the Cubs have never ponied up that money before. I do think this is a different time personally, but again, execution still needs to happen, right? It's a lot, and a lot of people, they got to see it to believe it, and I totally understand where we're coming from on that sense. But Ken Rosenthal, in one of his shows the other day, said this about Kyle Tucker. He said, don't be surprised if the Tampa Bay Rays, under new ownership officially, make a massive offer to the superstar slugger, okay? They're going to put a lot of pressure on the Cubs and force them to spend, as well as others, not just the Cubs necessarily. But he's the hometown kid, new team, or new ownership, basically going to come in, probably spend that dough, and offer Kyle Tucker the squad, essentially, right? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Now, the Rays notoriously have not spent a lot of money in any aspect of their baseball operations. They've done a fantastic job of developing young players and moving them along through the system, and they've found success in that measure. Now, have I seen them win a World Series? No. But could a bat like that maybe put them over the top? It's all potential, right? It's all potential in that sense. Kyle Tucker is an excellent addition to any ball club out there. So, do I think there's some truth to this? Yes, but again, if Kyle Tucker, when he goes to free agency, because I genuinely believe he's going to go to free agency, ladies and gentlemen, when he goes to free agency, all 30 teams should call him. All 30 teams should call him. There's no reason to not call him. Even if you're the Pirates and you know you have no shot in hell in signing him, call him. You need to make the call for the due diligence of your baseball operations. That's how good of a baseball player he is. So, yeah, do I think the Rays, if they want to spend the money and they pony up that $600 million, do they have a shot to get him? Yes. I don't see why he would go there, but again, if he wants to go back home, he wants to be part of his hometown, hey, Kyle Tucker's going to make his own decision at the end of the day, and that's going to be that. So, that's going to lead to some other questions, right? This is kind of leading to this one. Where does this leave Owen Caissie in terms of trading, right? I've been saying it on this channel for a few weeks now. He is the insurance policy to Kyle Tucker. So, I genuinely believe that if we do trade Owen Caissie, the Cubs have some kind of knowledge that we are going to extend Kyle Tucker and that deal is going to get done. I just don't see the Cubs double risking it in the sense of trading Caissie and not knowing where Kyle Tucker's thoughts are and lies with this team. Cubs do their due diligence on that front. Have they not spent the money on a guy like Kyle Tucker? Yes, we all understand that. They've never paid over $200 million for anyone. I totally understand that. But guess what? They're about to pay over $200 million for Pete Crow Armstrong in a few years, and they might as well pay well over $200 million for Kyle Tucker to establish this outfield core for the next 5 to 6 years, bare minimum. So, again, where does this leave Caissie? This is the part that's going to tell us Cubs fans where the front office is on Kyle Tucker, in my opinion, okay? Now, do I think Kevin Alcantara might get traded? Yes, I think that's very, very possible. Moises Blasros? Sure. I feel like it's all possible on that front. But if Caissie is not traded at the deadline, I have an inkling suspicion that the Cubs are feeling uneasy about Kyle Tucker. Not saying they're not going to extend him, but they just are not 100% sure on the extension. But if they do trade him, they're 95% above or sure that they are going to get their guy in free agency. So that's how I personally feel. Sound off in the comments below. You agree, you disagree, the whole nine. I'm excited to hear everyone's thoughts on that front. Now, what does a player like Caissie fetch? That is a great question. That has been going on in our comment section for over 2 weeks now. The value of Caissie, right? In my opinion, we have to remember he's technically our number 3 prospect because we called up our top 2 prospects already, right? Matt Shaw and Cade Horton. So they're both already on the big league club. And again, Cade Horton, we don't know if he's going to be with the big league club because he might be on a innings restriction. So curious to see how that all works out with them. I'm not sure what Caissie's going to fetch the Cubs in terms of packages. But again, if this team would like to supplement themselves for a nice season this year and not maybe mortgage the future, maybe the Diamondbacks are the dream trade partner, right? We can get Suarez, Merrill Kelly, and or Zach Gallen, like we've mentioned hundreds of times on this channel before, and you don't necessarily have to give up Owen Caissie or some of the other top prospects. So on this next segment, we're going to talk about the 3 top prospects for the Cubs not to trade. This is what I've seen per an article via Aldo Soto. If you don't follow him on Twitter, he does a lot of great Cubs work in the minor leagues. And so I don't disagree on this list, right? So let's take a look at his top 3 that he says these are the prospects that the Cubs should absolutely keep after the trade deadline. Number 1, of course, Owen Caissie. He sits right now as the top prospect in our organization. He's a power hitter, left-hander, outfielder. You know, if we don't extend Kyle Tucker, you have to imagine that he is going to be the setup replacement for him. The other one is this young stud, Jefferson Rojas. He's a middle infielder. He's very, very young. He's in high A ball, I believe. But either way, a lot of people love the talent of Jefferson Rojas and think he has a chance to be very, very special. So keep your eye on him. And then our best pitching, quote-unquote, prospect as it sits right now, Jackson Wiggins. He is 3rd. Those are the 3 guys that he says the Cubs should not trade. Everyone else is kind of up for potential deals or not. So, you know, there's been a lot of trade rumors and trade projections going around, and none of them work out in that way, you know, in that sense. So I'm curious to see what Jed can muster up and pull off this trade season. Maybe he doesn't get rid of a lot of people, you know, but he gets the pieces necessary to supplement the 2025 team and keep the long-term future of the Cubs in good standing, which I think has always been his goal. Even if it's his last season, I don't think he'll sell the whole farm just to try and go for one shot here in 2025. He wants to make sure that even if he's let go during this offseason, which, by the way, I don't think he's going to be let go. I'm willing to bet that he's going to get an extension. I know that might not make a lot of Cubs fans happy, but it's just kind of the way business is done around here. He has, I think, in my opinion, he's been maybe a little too patient on a lot of things, but he's been properly patient, and he doesn't overextend all too much. And I really like how I think he's forcing the Ricketts hands here with the Kyle Tucker deal. He's like, all right, Kyle Tucker's the best Cub player since about Sammy Sosa, in my opinion. I know Chris Bryant won an MVP. We won the World Series with all those guys. I think Kyle Tucker's better than all of them. So I think Jed making this deal, flipping Morel, Wesneski, and Isaac Paredes, you know, essentially for Kyle Tucker, right? We traded Morel to the Rays. We got Isaac Paredes, and then we dealt him for Kyle Tucker. I think he's forcing Ricketts' hand and saying, hey, if you're not going to pony up for this guy, then what are we doing here? How are we going to do this? So, again, I think Jed has done a solid job. Maybe not the best job ever, but I think he's done a solid job. So, Cubs do play baseball today, and we are back, and we're so excited. They are facing the Red Sox at 1:20. Former White Sox on the bump, Lucas Giolito, who is coming in ripping hot. He has won, I believe, 5 starts in a row. He's 6-1 with a mid-3 ERA. Colin Ray, who the Cubs seem to drop 10 runs or more for, the past 3 starts, he is on the bump as well. Remember, before the break, the Red Sox had been incredibly hot. It was before this hot streak that people thought they were going to trade Chapman. They might have traded Bregman. They might be looking to trade Duran somehow. But hey, or Duran. Either way, the Red Sox are no longer sellers. They are in the thick of it in the AL East and the wild card. And so they are going to try and make a push for the playoffs. But did the All-Star break cool them off? That is the real question here, ladies and gentlemen. And it all starts today at 1:20. Get your seatbelts ready. If you're at work, make sure you got those AirPods in and you're ready to listen to the ball game. I hope it's a good one. I imagine the Cubs are ready to get back out there and play some good ball because we got ourselves a race in the NL Central. And if you don't know where to be for this NL Central race, this trade season, or any like that, you got to make sure you're locked into Cubs Daily. I will be bringing you guys the news and notes that I see in here all day, every day. So keep it locked in. Again, appreciate you guys. If you like the video, throw the like up there. Comment your thoughts down below. Of those 3 prospects, right, that I just mentioned, let's take a look here at them. Owen Caissie, Jefferson Rojas, Jackson Wiggins. I want you guys in the comment section to give me one that you're willing to trade. That's what I want to hear. The one you're willing to trade of those 3 guys. Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys soon.